Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing.
4 months ago, on April 2026, Purity Sin was streaming the then newly released Pragmata, when suddenly, the stream was stopped as she noticed something happening at her door.
Why is my doorbell going? I will be right back. It appears I'm being swatted.
Just so that we are all on the same page, swatting is the act of making a false report to emergency services in order to provoke a large police response to a specific location. This is an act of criminal harassment and generally punished as a felony, as the intent behind such action is obvious and often deadly. On December 28, 2017, a swatting incited by a serial swatter named Tyler Barris resulted in the death of Andrew Thomas Finch, with the petty cause of such an incident being a simple wager of $1.50 in an online match of Call of Duty, World War II.
Tyler Barris was not some anonymous kid rage-clicking from his mom's basement. He was 25 years old, homeless, living in Los Angeles, and he had been doing versions of swatting for years. I mean, hell, his online name was Swatistic, a name that had developed a reputation in certain corners of the internet as someone you could call on to make shitty things happen. Sour Pants gave PP an address he believed was Potatoes, who he was pissed at for the $1.50 Call of Duty loss. But here's the thing, Potato, who had noticed BP following him on Twitter, had already figured out what was about to happen. Potato sends BP his old address, which is a house on West McCormick Street in Wichita, where he used to live with his family before they were evicted in 2016. Potato even taunted BP directly. He told him on Twitter, "Please try some shit, I'll be waiting." He was calling the bluff, except it wasn't a bluff and the address he sent wasn't his. On the evening of December 28, 2017, BP sat in a library in South Los Angeles and used its free Wi-Fi to place a voice over IP call to Wichita. Because the call was routed through city infrastructure, the dispatcher believed it was coming from the local area. BP told him his name was Brian. He said he was at 1033 West McCormick Street and that he had shot his father in the head. He said he was holding his mother and brother at gunpoint. He also said he was going to burn the house down and commit sewer slides. Wichita police responded with everything they had to the gamer's old address. Officers surrounded the house and set up a perimeter. A tactical unit took position because this was a super serious call. And then a random man named Andrew Finch opened his front door. Mr. Finch was 28 years old and was the father of 2. He had absolutely nothing to do with any of this. Not the game, not the bet, not the argument, not sour bitch boy Potato, or Bubba's plaything. None of it. He opened the door because there were police outside his house and he didn't know why. According to officers and court testimony, Finch raised then lowered his hands multiple times as officers were shouting commands at him. Officer Justin Rapp, positioned across the street, believed Finch was reaching for a weapon, so he opened fire. Andrew Finch was struck and later died at the local hospital.
The swatting on Purity Sin happened a few days after her fence was jumped by unknown individuals, and previously, more people had been sent to her door.
He also sent people to my house to try to get pictures. So also that was a thing. Nova sent people to my house to try to take pictures. They tried to jump my fence, and then suddenly my dogs got sick. So yeah, Nova's kind of a scumbag, and so is all of his friends.
She had kept quiet about the swatting until recently, when she decided to share this story with the public over a few streams where she watched Nova online. After one of such recounting, he has been desperately trying to contact her to say that he had no hand in the incident, but after getting ignored on both Twitch and YouTube, he sent another curious message alleging to know who would be behind the swatting. We don't need to see his proof though, because it does not exist. As it always happens when he is accused of wrongdoing, he will say that he can prove his innocence, but the evidence will never come. So I am going to show you how the timeline of events up until this point makes it pretty clear of who he would blame for this, but also, how he, even without giving orders, is very much involved in not only them, but other such criminal events. The main pointer behind this is the date, April. This is 2 months after his criminal server in February, which we'll call the UTTP server from now on. The UTTP is an anti-fandom and trolling group what is active primarily on social media, especially YouTube, and tends to target popular YouTubers' comments, leaving behind slurs and links to illegal content in their comments sections. A video by Mutahar from some ordinary gamers from a few years back shows how they claim to be in possession of the infamous video known as Daisy's Destruction, a CSAM video made by convicted child sex offender and murderer, Peter Scully. Nova Online would own a Discord server managed by this group, together with notorious members Alice, Defender, and 2 other notables who would join later, Kiwispeth and Lucky. Alice, who we now have proof from Kiwi Farms was underage when these events happened, had been trying to contact Nova Online throughout the month of January, by labeling herself as a fangirl and building shrines for him on TikTok. It is now rumored that Defender, a notorious member within the UTTP, famous for claiming to have made numerous underage girls hurt themselves and carve names into their bodies, had spurned her to do this, with the objective to parasite onto Nova Online in order to further their internet crimes and reach. He eventually established contact with her, going as far as to marry her through Discord on that same server and being seen and heard on private calls with her. All that while again, I must stress, Alice was still a minor.
You alright?
Yeah. Are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just trying to do something that'll make me feel better.
Oh, what's that?
I'd rather not talk about it. I feel embarrassed.
Don't be embarrassed. I didn't mean to embarrass you.
I know that.
It's okay.
It's
I
just I
don't
think
judge.
people will think of me it's just I think people will think of me differently if I watch that stuff.
I don't think of you any differently.
Soon after the server was formed, Bloodspeth was sent a link to join from a Twitter user who had infiltrated it. There, he found all 3 were in a voice call. Bloodspeth requested to join, but would be swiftly kicked from the server. Throughout the night, voice calls from inside the server would leak, displaying Nova Online's hatred for Bloodspeth, and how close and comfortable he felt with his newfound group of supporters.
He was telling me, like, oh, well, I'm not going to get manipulated. I can't be. He thinks he's all powerful. I think
Oh, yeah, by the way,
so much dirt on fake stuff, it's not even funny. His career is going to end by the hands of us.
His excitement at banding together with UTTP members to orchestrate Bloodspeth's downfall shows Nova Online's propensity to buddy up to criminals in order to finally achieve revenge against creators who he feels wronged him. It's clear that as long as it enables him to get what he desires, Nova Online has no issues with the morality of whoever he befriends, with the same applying for their actions, contrary to what he would have his audience believe. The first to suffer one of these attempts was me, as Nova Online would, for the first time in his YouTube career, abused the DMCA system in order to try and take down the Chin universe with false copyright strikes. Calls later leaked by Alice would show further examples of Nova Online's desire to obtain personal information, or as he calls them, phone books of other YouTubers besides Bloodspeth, using a planned podcast named Project Commentator Down.
Smokey hates onions.
Yeah, we should drop a ton of onions off at his doorstep.
That would be fucking hilarious. but I don't think he's been phone booked yet.
Bro, we're close to getting... Did you see Bloodspeth's hand?
Yeah, it stops his fingers. Imagine if he's fat just like Lemur. And yeah, we got all that dirt on him now.
Bloodspeth he's just lying like he always does. It says a lot about his character, honestly. Shows how stupid he is.
Yeah, he's at the top of my list for Project Commentator Down.
Yeah, we need to start working on that, actually.
The server would come to an end soon after, as Nova Online would claim to have been blackmailed with a leak of Alice's personal information by Defender into furthering whatever degenerate goals they were after. This was partly false though, since Alice would continue her friendship with UTTP member Lucky, as they were later seen on call together on another video, and with Lucky being seen together on call with Defender when Gideon confronted their group back during the C-Bot boxing match. Lucky would join the UTTP server towards its tail end, with her arrival being immediately leaked and reported outside the server for allegedly having also committed the same crimes against minors as Defender, and she herself would show such a propensity within the server, by claiming a desire to be greeted after death with, quote, a harem of shotas, the term used for a certain type of pornographic content focusing on prepubescent young boys. An interesting call would come from this period, with Defender and Lucky yet again reaffirming their mission to protect Nova Online from YouTubers by doxing their personal information on the internet.
No, Nova
I
is...
actually like them. I think it was actually...
Yeah, no, Nova's the coolest
The people,
guy.
other
Nova
YouTubers
is,
around
Nova
him
is
they'd be
unironically
checking up
cooler
for a while.
than Bloodspeth. No, Bloodspeth on the other hand
Well,
is actually...
I thought the UTTP will protect Nova Online. And I aborted
Exactly.
the UTTP officer.
We have some plans for this guy. Yeah, we already doxed a bunch of other YouTubers.
I don't know if feel that. I think it shouldn't get all of our fun little ideas.
I mean, you know, he wants to harass all these minors. All these innocent minors. Like Nova Online Fangirl.
Before ending this segment, I would also like to point an interesting fact. Nova Online's current furry girlfriend, Raven, is also known for having been around him since February, and is rumored to be familiar with Nova Online's connections with Alice and other UTTP members. Not too long after the end of the server, another problem came to accost Nova Online, as his only real-life friend was informed of the happenings inside his Discord server. Disgusted with what he saw, the friend tried to contact Nova Online, who could not explain the degeneracy and crimes at display. His last-ditch effort was to claim that he had no idea or control of the server's behavior and content up until then, despite being assigned with an owner role and with all server rules essentially forming a cult around him. Unsatisfied, the friend would terminate their relationship, and later in March, would agree to an interview with Bloodspeth, explaining his side and how he came to learn of all of this. Again, we've recently got to see Nova Online's reaction to the ordeal, again from leaks provided by Alice.
Are you okay?
No, I'm far from okay.
I'm so sorry. What's happening?
Two of my friends fucking turned their backs on me.
Oh
Including my
no.
only IRL friend.
I'm so sorry. How did they do that? I'm so sorry. Oh my god. I'm so sorry.
I can't fucking suffer like this anymore.
No, I'm so sorry. Just please.
Unhappy with what he considered a betrayal against his person, Nova Online would then post more TikToks indirectly calling out his former friend and making loose threats about how he would obtain revenge against him. Soon after this, one of the members of the now deleted UTTP server, notorious for seeking Bloodspeth's personal info and saying slurs, Kiwaspeth, started to dox the former friend's uncensored face, name, and social media on Twitter. Kiwaspeth, having his name obviously swiped from Bloodspeth, joined the UTTP server sometime after its birth and quickly had a named role made for him together with Alice, Defender, and Lucky. He would be notorious not only for this obsession with Bloodspeth's information, name, skin color and avatar, but for also spreading misinformation about the server's rules and lack of proper age verification, wanting to confront Bloodspeth on stream, and generating AI images of his avatar. Information dug into him by Kiwi Farms, to no surprise, also reveals inappropriate interactions with minors on the internet, bestiality, a Twitter account spouting extremely racist rhetoric, and an enduring friendship with Alice, who was not only heard on call with him long after the events of the server, but also attempted to coerce Bloodspeth into interacting with Kiwaspeth in order to obtain further leaks about Nova Online as recently as June of 2026. I always like to bring this information to attention because you need to remember this. Up until this point, outside of Bloodspeth, who was in direct contact with the former friend, no one besides Nova Online knew his personal information. Of course, Kiwaspeth could have just done research to obtain his information like he was doing to Bloodspeth up until that point. But it would be giving away too much good faith to believe such info was not provided by Nova Online in order to realize his fantasy of enacting revenge against someone who he feels wronged him, all while getting someone else's hands dirty.
Well, it depends on what you're referring to. Like, Nova has his own things going on, I have my own things, but he is my friend, and I do support him, because I acknowledge everything said about him is a lie.
And where's Nova at today?
Nova's calling with his girlfriend right now, but we're not gonna leak any information on that.
Where did you meet Nova?
Yeah. I met him in I actually don't want to say because it was a not safe for work server in the old admin band for.
Oh, but we're all fans here. Like we want to know.
Actually, no, I didn't. Okay. I met him actually through Alice.
Where did he meet Alice then?
I can't talk about that. I have Noah's personal phone number.
At some point around the end of March and April, Nova Online would claim that his friendship with Alice had ended, after he somehow finally realized she was also just as much of a terrible person as the other UTTP members. His friendship with Kiwaspeth was never addressed again, though. Kiwaspeth, for some reason, would also develop a fixation on Purity Sin, generating AI artwork of one of her avatars and making countless posts mentioning her on Twitter, with these also including her real name. Soon after these posts started to get made, the trespassing and swatting incidents would happen, with each post of hers reporting on these incidents receiving a reply from Kiwispeth.
So, basically what happened was, I was streaming Pragmata. At the time, the day before, we had had a lot of weird people show up at my door banging on it. They claimed to be all different kinds of things, from pizza delivery to, like, Walmart delivery, but there was no signs on their cars or anything, especially the pizza person who ended up doing donuts and blasting their horn, which, again, I believe that was caught on a stream. I don't remember which one it was. If anyone does, please enlighten me. The next day, during my next stream, which was Pragmata, the police showed up. I have a neighbor who is a cop, and I am fairly certain, from what I have been told, he went to bat for me. Because the worst thing, as he said, I have done is walk around and sing to my dogs. So I'm not exactly, and if you see my house, it's not exactly a drug den or anything like that. So, they knocked on the door, I answered, and we talked. They had their hands on their guns, telling me that they had gotten a report that I had killed my mother. I looked around, and across all of the other houses, between them were other police with their guns out and pointed at my house and at me. My mom came out once I went and got her. I signed to her because she was trying to fix her hearing devices because she is deaf without them, what was going on. The police were very nice. They came in, they checked everything. They saw that I was streaming. They knew about streamers, which surprised me. They gave us a case number and they left. I gave all of the information I had to the police, thanks to Chin Universe and other people giving me information. At the time, we also had the problem of some of Nova's friends threatening me, threatening to struggle snuggle me is how I'm going to say it. Let me see if I can find that. For the next few days after that, we had creeps coming to the house trying to take pictures, banging on the door, and somebody jumped my fence and started throwing things on the ground. We chased them away with our neighbor's help, and after that, the dogs got sick. So we don't know what the fuck he threw on the ground. It looked like food, but it was probably tainted. We cleaned it all up, and after that, nobody started showing up anymore.
Just so that we can understand the gravity the swatting could have caused at her home specifically, Purity has stated in her streams that she has dogs and other animals present in the house, and her mother is deaf. I don't need to tell you how ugly the situation could have turned if a deaf woman who had no understanding of what was going on were to pick up the door from a team of police officers, who had no idea she was deaf and think an emergency was currently ongoing inside the house. With the additional of service dogs inside, it's almost a miracle how well things ended up turning out. Purity told me her mother is still scared of getting swatted to this day.
This unarmed father of two had done nothing wrong. He was just standing, confused in his own doorway because cherries and berries were flashing everywhere, and he wanted to make sure his family was safe.
After the swatting happened, Purity would do her due diligence and report these incidents to the authorities. Soon after, Nova Online would start receiving multiple visits from police officers and FBI agents. With this incident, his online threats to other creators and interaction with minors and Bloodspeth being rumored to all have been mentioned. Afraid for her safety, Purity Sin would stop covering Nova Online for a period, having PTSD episodes triggered and influencing her personal life. A joint project between her and the Chin universe had to be delayed since then, as the incident interfered with her ability to speak.
And as somebody who was already terrified to leave her house due to PTSD, yeah, that did fucking great for me. That did fucking fantastic. I don't usually talk about shit publicly, but since he decided to bring it up, yes, it happened, and because of him, I barely could leave the house for a month because he set off a PTSD attack. Unlike him, I actually have issues. You know how fun that is to be able to not leave your fucking house because you have a panic attack? Yeah, that was me for a month.
Something tangentially related that is of note, Kiwispeth would also make posts directed at Kiwi Tapes, using the name Nova Online would later claim on his undercover account, Salty Atlanta Sour Peach, on Kiwi Farms in May 2026, to be Kiwi Tape's real name, before he would do so himself. Nova Online would state on the farms that a confidant provided him with that name. The confidant himself would then appear with an account using the numbers 7, 6, and 4, the name of another terrorist group tangentially related to the UTTP on their username, and like Kiwispeth, having a propensity to use slurs in their everyday comments. Although we now know that none of this was Kiwi Tape's real information, Nova Online and his confidant had essentially doxed a real, unrelated family, with addresses, pictures and social media, again out of his petty desire for revenge. After recovering, Purity would eventually resume her activities, including watching Nova Online streams. As they went on, she would occasionally tell her audience about her belief that Nova Online was behind the swatting. Everything would reach a much wider audience, however, when on August 11, 2026, she would tune into a Nova Online Fortnite stream, and as he usually does, he would listen to her commentary over his gameplay, while expressing his disdain towards her as the stream went on.
He doesn't know my name. He's not gonna say my name again. You want the police involved? A second time, Nova? You swatted me once, you want to have the cops involved again? Yeah, no, my police department was not happy with him. They really don't like swatters here in Florida. Yeah, he had his friends swat me.
Hey, Purity's chat, buy Novacord Paracord. We got a 20% off sale going on soon.
Hey chat, buy my comic. Also go read it on Webtoons.
No one gives a fuck about your comics, Purity.
He's so mad. Oh, my comic is fantastic. We just finished issue 3.
Repress my ass, Purity. Your prime is long past, girl.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not 15. It was shocking to me how Purity can actually help her mom, and all you do is sit and stream and message minors. Oh, thank you for the donation, Beard Cat. Nova never had a prime. Sin looks better and doesn't abuse her mom. I would never
abuse my mom either,
It is speculated that audio of her talking about the swatting and his involvement leaked into his own stream during these back and forths, and after he ended his transmission, Nova Online would try to contact Purity to claim he never swatted her, as he had been a victim of the same crime in the past. Purity would ignore Nova Online, leading him to desperately try and contact her on a YouTube community post, and once again by Twitch direct messages. And this time, he changed his narrative, by claiming he knew who had initiated the swatting, taking us back to the beginning of this video. It's very clear who Nova Online means to blame for this, the two highest likely candidates being Alice and Kiwispeth. Nova Online has been blaming Alice for many mishappenings and misfortunes in his life recently, and has also been giving away her real name and state on social media and for his Discord friends, as was leaked a while back. As likely as she can be the one responsible, only one of the two has displayed a particular obsession with Purity in the past. Bloodspeth summed up what I think about this situation perfectly in his stream.
Personally, I don't think that he himself placed the call. I don't believe so at all. I don't think he's smart enough to do that. I don't think he has the balls to do that, to be honest. But 1000%, in my opinion, I would not doubt for a second that he had someone else do it for him. Same thing happened with Kiwi Tapes. Some random family Nova thought was Kiwi Tapes' family got, doxxed, and turns out it was just a random family. Not like it would be okay if it was him and his family, but like he gets people to do his dirty work because, in my opinion, A, he's too dumb, and B, he's too scared. So yeah, again, I don't think he did it himself. I don't think he placed the call, but I do believe 1,000,000,000,000% that he asked his weird friends to do it, because they would. Again, this is Nova Online. We're talking about, we make fun of him, this and that, but please don't forget that he's not just some random internet weirdo to laugh at. He's preyed on multiple children, multiple little girls. He has tried doxing me multiple times, and I'm not like scared of it at all. He literally pulls names out of his butt. But this is not something that's beneath him. And I think that should really be taken into account. This is he's a terrible person to the core. He is so evil. There really is no doubt at all that he would do something like that. And again, in my opinion, and now that she's talking about it more, he is panicking, he's trying to clear things up. He literally admitted some type of involvement by saying that he knows who might have initiated it. So he was involved. You know the person, right? That doesn't make you any less culpable legally. If you tell someone to commit a crime on your behalf, you get charged with the same crime. There's no way to get out of that. So Nova, I hope to God that you're arrested for this and for everything else you've done. and you spend every second of your miserable life from here on, or from whenever you get arrested on, in prison.
Having covered Nova online for so long, we start to notice certain patterns of behavior. As soon as someone notices his involvement in crimes, he desperately tries to disassociate himself from the situation, and he will throw anyone who was with him under the bus to try and save himself. He will never take accountability. He will always be the first to run away from responsibility as soon as the breadcrumb trail leads to his direction. And that's why it's so clear for Purity and anyone looking into this situation to deduce he was involved, whether directly or indirectly. Since I know you're watching, who is to blame for this? Gabriel. Purity Sin has already stated she will not talk to you, so if you really know who's responsible, use your reach to put your money where your mouth is. Post your proof of innocence online. Try and clear your name. We know you won't, though. The Chin universe is rapidly expanding, and now, we have memberships and super chats. Consider joining us to have access to 4 brand new emotes, and member-exclusive shorts showing how they get made. Thank you so much for watching and helping the channel grow this fast, and I'll see you on the next video.